So we are continuing today in Pirkei Avos, and we find ourselves in the first Mishna of the second chapter. Rebbe says as follows, Parak Beis Mishna Aleph, Rebbe Omer, Ezu derech yeshar she'avar lo ha'adam. What is the correct path, or literally the straight path, that a person should choose for himself? Kol she'tiferes lo oseh v'tiferes lo min ha'adam. Any path that is honorable for the one who does it, and that earns him honor from other people. Again, we'll discuss what that means. Be careful with what, quote unquote, a minor mitzvah as you are with a major mitzvah. For you never really know the true reward of mitzvos. Also, consider the loss of doing a mitzvah against its reward. And ultimately, again, the reward that one gets from an avera, so to speak, the gain or the benefit, and measure that against the loss. Think about three things, or literally look at three things, and you won't come to sin. Know what is above you. Ayin roa, a seeing eye, ozen shoma'as, a listening ear, v'chol ma'asecha b'sefer nechtav, and then all of your deeds, all of your actions are recorded in the book. So a lot to unpack in this Mishnah. So let's analyze it piece by piece. The first thing Rebbe says is, what is the proper path that a person should choose for himself? Which is, again, a very profound life question. What is the proper path in life? So the first thing, ultimately, Rebbe says, is kol she'tiferes lo oseh, so literally, again, anything honorable for the one who does it and is honorable earns him honor from other people. And the Rabbeinu Yonah says something very beautiful. He says, "Be'asos hamitzvos HaKadosh Baruch Hu mefuar bahen ve'hein tiferes lo sein ki tifarto hu tiferes amitis bivnei adam." So interestingly enough, the Rabbeinu Yonah writes, he says that when a person does mitzvos, not only does he bring honor to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but he brings honor to himself as well. It's really a very beautiful idea. Not that one performs the mitzvah ultimately for the honor, but what Rabbi is ultimately highlighting is that when you perform mitzvahs, you become a different person. I think this is one of the pieces that often we don't fully appreciate within our Yiddishkeit. We know about mitzvahs from an obligatory perspective. I have to do this, I can't do this. But what we forget is that mitzvahs really have the ability to fundamentally change who we are. They shape our character. And when I bring glory to HaKadosh Baruch Hu through performance of mitzvahs, in essence, what I'm really doing is I'm bringing glory upon myself. V'tiferes lo min ha'adam. And ultimately, again, bring me honor from other people. What does this mean? Sheyasa mitzvos bizmanon shnemar v'davar be'ito matov ki yuchal lasos bizman shelo yishar be'enei abrios v'lo yeh pe'er bahen ve'ein ze osa mitzvah shlima ki yishomer chazal kol ha'osa mitzvah ma'amora afilu gzar din shel shivim shana mevatel. So this is incredible. He says, interestingly enough, he says that when a person performs mitzvahs, it's actually interesting. What he says is, do the mitzvahs in a time where essentially it's appropriate. Namely, that you're not going to go ahead and annoy other people. It's actually interesting. In other words, what did Rabbeinu Yonah, if we could kind of just paraphrase a little bit, what Rabbeinu Yonah I really is saying is that spirituality has to happen in a way that ultimately doesn't erode into personal relationships. Sometimes people make the mistake that as long as I'm doing the will of God, right, so whoever I trample upon or whoever I disrespect or whoever I just go ahead and, take their feelings for granted, it doesn't matter because I'm doing stuff that's part of a higher calling. It's wonderful to do things that are part of a higher calling. But even when I serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I have to serve Hashem in a way, tiferes lo min ha'adam. It brings me honor from other people. Again, not that I need other people to honor me, but that my ruchnius, my spirituality, or my bin adam lamakom should never come at the expense of my bin adam lechavero. I always have to make sure that in the service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't end up chas v'shalom trampling upon the other individual. So this is the meaning of the first phrase. So Rabbi says, how do you know what is the right derech, what is the right path in life? He says, number one, kol she'tiferes lo oseh. So recognize, of course, the answer is understood by itself. What's the right path? The right path ultimately is service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is Torah and mitzvos. What's the beauty of choosing that path? Number one, tiferes lo oseh. Understand that when you serve Hashem, study His Torah, do His mitzvos, it will endow you with a certain heightened level of grace and beauty and spiritual positivity. That's number one. Number two, but in the pursuit of the spiritual, make sure tiferes min ha'adam. Make sure that chas v'shalom, your spiritual growth never comes at the expense or at the erosion of your, or with erosion of your interpersonal standards. Right? We'll stop over here for today. Shkoyach.